Disney has largely exited the box office for 2024, leaving only 3 major tentpoles to take as much money as possible. With the kind of money they spend, they need these films to break $1 billion in ticket sales. Frankly, I'm worried about what Disney might do to get as many people as possible in front of screens to watch a raunchy R-rated superhero action comedy, that being their biggest, most expensive film of the year, Deadpool 3. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. I'm Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, where we talk about streaming, theme parks, entertainment, and video games. Today, we're talking about Deadpool 3, the only film we know of that was greenlit by former Disney CEO Bob Chapek. When it happened, they promised that this film would be just as filthy as previous releases, despite the fact that Marvel, under Disney, has kept their releases firmly in the PG-13 range. On the flip side, Marvel is a brand that is marketed to children on Disney Junior, so this brand synergy might not be the film that Disney needs to quiet the noise. Let's get into it. Wall Street analyst known as Movie Theater Bull turns increasingly cautious on stock performance in a down box office year. This is me bringing a little bit of background. There's not a lot of hope for the box office in 2024 right now because, one, the strikes happened, and while all of those studios were pretty cocky and saying things are going just fine and we're going to be fine for a few years and everything like that, everything shut down. And I don't think they counted on, after the writers got done striking and they settled that deal, the actors also not being available to fix all of the things that they could have fixed after the writers got done writing. Also, Ryan Reynolds was prohibited from improvising on the set of Deadpool, which... got to say that's kind of an essential aspect to that character. Ryan Reynolds doing whatever he darn well pleases there in front of the camera. So Ryan Reynolds shares new Deadpool 3 photo donning Marvel's superhero costume. This one here from Deadline. As 2023 comes to a close, Ryan Reynolds is reflecting on the year and took to social media to share some of his favorite moments. Tucked deep in the carousel of photos he shared was an image of Reynolds wearing the Deadpool costume without the face mask. Imagine that. Looks a lot like Ryan Reynolds right there. Any thoughts on this before we move on? Vash, Kara, you have any thoughts on Ryan Reynolds in that Deadpool costume?
I have lots of thoughts, but I can't say them on the internet.
Thank you.
Calm down, Kara.
Thank you for not disappointing.
I say that as my husband walked into the room talking about Ryan Reynolds.
So, that's great.
He gets it.
He gets it.
Well, you know,
really spectacular. Spared no expense.
That's right.
Oh, there you go.
Really good stuff right there. No, I like how they're they're kind of bringing this Deadpool 3 to fruition in a manner that we all kind of expect and know and love. So that's kind of cool. There are rumors that Wolverine might be in his classic outfit right there that was teased at the end of the Wolverine sequel or whatever. That might be pretty cool. Hey, this sounds good up until the point where, well, it's now under Disney, and now you're suggesting that he's not going to be able to improv and so forth. I mean, come on, that's.
I was really hoping that they would basically take a break from filming. That way he could do things the Ryan Reynolds way, because he is at the top of his game.
Right.
And at his funniest whenever he's just in the moment and can say what he wants to say. That is the best movies. That's how Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds. Like,
Agreed.
That's him, and that's what we want to see.
Inseparable.
So I mean, look at him, even how he was as like Detective Pikachu. He was still Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. I'm a Pikachu fan. If none of you can tell, you're blind. But yes, Ryan Reynolds is best as Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
That's why we love him.
Agreed. And Ryan Reynolds is one of the strongest brands out there. When they used to do films that were basically actor vehicles, to where it's just any excuse to put... there's a whole genre of movies that are basically Arnold Schwarzenegger, because that's the only unifying aspect to those films. Is the fact that Arnold shows up and is Arnold. Or there's a... there was, of course, the Bruce Willis trend there, where movies that were low budget but paid a lot of money in order to get Bruce Willis to show up for maybe like 30 seconds, and then they could just put him on the poster to try to sell it to older men who remember how great Die Hard is. I'm not insulting anyone here. I'm talking about those other people that are much older than anyone who would watch this stream. I'm not insulting you, person in the audience who just took offense. I'm insulting someone else.
Well, yeah, like Free Guy, for example, that wasn't necessarily supposed to make money, but it kind of like it was kind of a sleeper hit over there in 2021. I mean, there are numerous examples of Ryan Reynolds, at least recently, where he brings it and he brings people to his films. I'm so surprised that they would kind of step away from that for Deadpool 3, knowing that this is hotly anticipated.
Well, Free Guy also was an original IP there. Sean Levy was the director of Free Guy.
Can I clout drop a little bit right
sure,
now?
please do.
So there is a scene in Free Guy that is filmed at DreamHack Anaheim that I was working at, and I was in that area that they filmed for Free Guy. I was like in the top left corner of the scene.
Oh, that's awesome! Please,
the very, 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 very.
Now I'm
going to
go looking for
you won't find me. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But there's like an overhead shot of all of these people at their computers during whenever that final thing's going on with them, and they're but I was running the cosplay contest for that convention, and that's my little clout, was that I was there for the filming for that.
Well, that's a nice little surprise to throw into the middle of this segment. I love that.
That's cool.
So the thing that I want to bring up here is that Deadpool 3, obviously we have Inside Out coming out in June, Inside Out #2, which will have anxiety in it, and then Deadpool 3 coming out in July, and then Mufasa, the Lion King remake prequel, coming out in December. So the number of Disney films this year is down to 3. There's some Fox releases and some non-Disney branded releases that if they're good, Disney will decide retroactively that, oh yes, it was a Disney release, the way they did with Nightmare Before Christmas. But until that moment, we've got a movie that is starring the personification of anxiety, and we've discussed that on this channel a little bit, how that might be a little bit dangerous for a movie that is supposed to be marketed to 4-year-olds. And we have Mufasa coming out late in December, which who knows if that'll be good. It shouldn't hurt the original Lion King, I'll say that. But in the middle of this, the biggest movie that they've got, that Disney has right now coming out in 2023, is a movie starring the Merc with a Mouth, Deadpool. And it's also, of course, the only Marvel movie until sometime in the next year. I didn't watch Deadpool 2. I did watch the first Deadpool for academic reasons. And I got to say, if Disney, again, is trying to quiet the noise, and we've got people showing up for quote unquote the next Marvel thing in theaters, do you think they're in for a rude awakening if somebody brings their, let's say, 6-year-old daughter to Deadpool 3, not understanding what it is?
If you don't know what Deadpool 3 is, you're hiding under a rock. If you take a kid, I remember whenever the first Deadpool came out, because it was on Valentine's Day, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because they tried to spin it as a love story.
Right, because Ryan Reynolds is a marketing genius.
Yes, he is. And that's why he has the marketing company that he has. The guy knows how to market stuff, in everything, anything. But it's just and they tried to, if you don't know what Deadpool 3 is, or Deadpool in general, at least just look at the rating for the movie. Do your basic duty as a parent. And
yes, I totally agree with you there. Well, the whole purpose of my Everything Woke series on the other channel is because parents don't do that due diligence. I don't. I don't think Deadpool 3 will be that situation at all.
No.
But, like the first Deadpool. Okay, so there's a difference between the sexualization in Deadpool 1 and say them putting a dress on Gonzo in Disney, on a Disney Junior show. That being said, Deadpool does show up in children's content on Disney's networks of things here. He is a character that they'll put in the Lego stuff because he's fun and he can say anything. Now, I don't think he says anything dirty in those. They actually try to avoid it intentionally. He's in a lot of the Lego Marvel games, specifically voiced by Nolan North, who does a fantastic job in the role.
Nolan is great. Nolan's great. I've actually gotten to interview Nolan North before.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to try not to geek out too much there, that you're talking about conversations with the voice of Nathan Drake. One of the most amazing voice actors out there. But this is a character. I feel like this is a problematic situation here. I feel like there's going to be some parent that says, oh, well, my kid has heard of this and they want to go see this movie. I will take my kids to see this movie. And then there maybe, if it follows the track of Deadpool 1, there might be a scene where Deadpool's girlfriend, wife, whatever that relationship is, does some things to Deadpool that you might not expect to see in a...
But you know what? Maybe the parent needs to go through that and be shamed into that horrible situation. And so they'll actually pay attention to the type of content that their kids are consuming.
So It's
not like this is the first Deadpool movie either. This is the third
no,
one.
It's not. Third one's on you. First one, okay, maybe. Second one, like if you're taking your kid to see Deadpool 3, obviously you have at least done some type of like research, or the kid has seen Deadpool 1 and 2. And if they are trying to get you to see Deadpool 3, they are trying to manipulate you. Like, you know how I said earlier in the stream that I made a lot of kids cry. Specifically because of Grand Theft Auto 5. And I was a manager.
Please do tell.
I was a manager at GameStop for years. And I had a lot of kids who would come in and try and talk their parents into buying this game for them. And I'm like, this game is rated M. Like, this is what's in it. And the kids are like, no, you can skip through all that. You can skip through that. I'm like, no, you can't. Actually, do you need me to pull up some gameplay for your parents? They're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I was like,
oh, that's beautiful.
Pay attention to your kid. Pay attention to what you are purchasing for your child. This is your job. It shouldn't be my job. Like, yes, I'm technically getting paid for it, but
we can safely assume that this is going to be rated R, right? Deadpool 3?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
If it's not, I'll be disappointed if they don't make it rated R. Just because I am a Deadpool fan. I want to see Deadpool as Deadpool. And not tone down Deadpool.
You know, it's funny, as I'm the resident prude here by reputation on that Park Place. I don't want them to make a PG-13 Deadpool film. I don't want them to make a rated R one, but I especially don't want them to make a PG-13 one, because I feel like that's or at least, you do your Once Upon a Deadpools or whatever like that. I don't want all this crazy stuff in a kid's brand. But the question here for me, of course, is should Disney, if Marvel is going to be a flagship brand of Disney, in the same way that, I'm creeped out by the fact that Star Wars has hired an intimacy coordinator for the Acolyte. Like, okay, there needs to be intimacy coordinators for some show out there. Probably not one that I feel like I should be watching, but I'm especially not wanting to have a Star Wars show that has any of these things in it. Maybe this is me just not getting with the times here, but these things, when you market something to kids and you put it in children's content as an ancillary, I'm uncomfortable with Disney taking the tack that, no, we're going to make a film that is probably going to be, Hugh Jackman is in this and Ryan Reynolds is in this, and the cast list that we keep seeing. I would not be shocked if this is a $200 to $300 million film. And therefore, they're going to want to get as much money as they can for this film. So therefore, they're going to market to everyone. And I'm concerned about the idea that they are going to try to, in the same way that they're trying to say that Mean Girls isn't a musical, or that Wonka was not a musical, that they're just going to try to pull the wool over everyone's eyes and say, you know what? Let's pretend like we can market this to 4-year-olds. Let's see if we can skirt the line. Let's do a bleeped version of this. Well, you'd need to do more than bleeping on a Deadpool.
They've tried to do that. They did that with Once Upon a Deadpool. They did that Christmas version of Deadpool.
Oh, and it failed spectacularly.
It failed.
Yes. Oh, is this live for $5 Canadian? You heard it here first. Jonas advocates for G Deadpool movie. No, I
With
don't.
the times, Jonas.
Deceased Pool, rated PG. Oh, fine. You all might think that I'm
pool.
Right, and I'm not trying to force my ideas on anyone else. I just see an issue here, and I'm so glad that you're here, Kara, to advocate for this side of the argument. Not that we're arguing with each other. I love the discussion here. Vash, do you have anything you want to chime in before we move on to non-rated R pastures?
I think it's important to give consumers what they expect, right, and what they kind of demand, and it would be a complete betrayal of everything if they didn't actually put this out with a rated R rating and market it as such. And I think there'll be some delineation, right? I think they'll make it very, very clear that this is an adult film. You could have a simultaneous release with a PG-13 rated film. Obviously, we know that didn't necessarily work out if you wanted to somehow broaden the audience, but you definitely need to give the audience what they demand. And like I said, a betrayal if you don't. Also, too, broadening this out a little bit here, this is going to be one of the first years that Disney hasn't had an animated release this year. They've had one consistently since I'll give 2020 a pass, but 2018, really? And that was because they had so many Pixar films released at that same time period that they didn't opt for one. So this is it's going to be a light year for sure.
Yep.
Lightyear
hopefully it won't
like
be a light year. Yeah.
Dead as Lightyear was.
Maybe that was more apt than I thought it was.
Yeah. So of course the questions to look forward to here are whether or not Disney is going to keep their budgets in line. I think the budget's already gone for this film, and that they're going to have to market it. I can't imagine that Ryan Reynolds, who is one of the more powerful brains in Hollywood right now, was not able to negotiate a hefty marketing budget for this film. So I think that they've already spent all of that money and already dedicated to spending that money. So you heard it here first. Watch out for how Disney tries to thread the needle on trying to make as much money as possible on what is probably the filthiest thing that is attached to the Marvel brand right now. But
that's the thing. That is where they're going to continuously fail. If they try to dig their heel in and not let the creators do what they have set out to do with Deadpool, like if Disney puts a roadblock in for them, it will fail. It will.
I agree.
And me, as a consumer, of somebody who wants to spend money and wants to go see Deadpool 3, let me see what I want to see. Let me see Deadpool as Deadpool. That's it. That's what the fans want. And that is where, like, Disney just needs to not have so many executives there.
Right.
This is one of those situations where that's not the answer.
This is where I think I agree with you. I see this as a Disney problem more than a Deadpool 3 problem.
Agreed.
So, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you foresee a situation where Disney and Marvel stick the landing on Deadpool 3, or is this just a PR disaster waiting to happen? Tell us your thoughts, because we'd love to know. This clip was part of our now regular Thursday live stream, which starts at noon Eastern time. Of course, if you're not in that time zone, just hit the notification bell if you'd like YouTube to just tell you when that is. Like this video if you like this video. If you know someone who is as interested as we are in this kind of nerdy thing, then maybe you should share the link with them. And of course, please consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.